Brunel built a lot of bridges. Babbage invented the first modern computer. Brammer invented the hydraulic press. So, what did Betty Beecroft do? Well, only go and become a pioneering industrial businesswoman in the oldest forge in England. So if you've not heard of her or Kirkstall Forge, great, because you're going to now. All that remains of Kirkstall Forge now is this train station and this swanky new business estate. But it was, until it closed in 1995, the oldest forge in England. We can trace its industrial history all the way back to the 12th century, when it was part of the Kirkstall Abbey estate. But by the 18th century it had fallen into disrepair. In Betty's memoirs she described it as very much out of repair, indeed, very near in ruin. So, who was this Betty? Well, she was born in 1748 as Elizabeth Skirrow and baptised in Otley. The youngest of 11 children, only 6 would survive to adulthood. She came from rather humble beginnings. Her father was a tanner and her mother sold butter. Something about her upbringing may have given her a spirit of enterprise from an early age. At 18 she began trading with her brother in a shop selling pots, glasses and china, and sold butter twice a week at the Leeds market. As she wrote in her memoirs, "The Lord gave me always a determination to be truly honest, upright and industrious. I was fully active at my business early and late. The Lord blessed our labours, our little stock increased daily. I was about 19 years of age, had saved about £20. I now thought I would learn the art and business of stocking weaving. Shut myself up in a room, work hard and pray hard." So from these few brief extracts we really get an insight into who Betty was. She was incredibly hard-working, determined and always had a plan. In 1775 she married George Beecroft and a few years later, in 1778, got the idea to buy the land at Kirkstall Forge. When she suggested it to George, he was nervous as it cost a lot of money, but Betty was determined to get her hands on it and managed to gather enough donations from relatives to secure it. As one 1975 article about her describes, the outcome of the difference of opinion was that Betty won, as women have a habit of doing. It's clear that she was determined and knew exactly what she wanted. Her experience selling butter at Leeds market must have provided her with some business acumen as, whilst George looked after the farm, she looked after the forge. In 1780, the forge made £172 in profit. By 1784, it was making £952. The profits had increased over 5 times in just 4 years, and a lot of that can be put down to her skills as a businesswoman. But, like that famous Yorkshire businessman, Titus Salt, Betty was a deeply religious woman and couldn't resist implementing rules for her workers to follow. These included a fine of 2 and 6 for using abusive language or profane swearing, and it is expected that every person employed at these works do attend some place of worship on Sundays, and no habitual Sabbath breaker or profane swearer will be employed. In fact, her family were keen supporters of the Methodist John Wesley, and when an angry mob from Horsforth attacked him, he took refuge in the forge. Afterwards, 2 rooms would bear his name, Wesley's parlour and Wesley's chamber. There's one final anecdote about her life which I think is great. In 1793, Britain was at war with France, and rumours started to circulate about her which caused so much anguish that she put a notice in the Leeds Mercury. A vile and infamous report. Whereas some evil-minded person or persons have, very industriously, for some time past, propagated reports that I had exported butter and bacon to France, which is totally unfounded and false. I therefore hereby give notice that whoever will give such information to me as may lead to the discovery and conviction of the propagator, or propagators of such malicious and false report, that I will, on his or her or their conviction, pay a reward of 10 guineas, as witness my hand, Elizabeth Beecroft. Now you don't want to mess with her. Whether anyone was actually convicted has yet to be discovered. In my first Yorkshire Novels video, I reviewed Barbara Taylor Bradford's 1979 hit A Woman of Substance, about a lowly serving girl from Leeds who rises to the very top through her astute business sense. Now, whilst I was putting this video together, I realised, ooh, that sounds a lot like our Betty here. Now, I don't know if Barbara Taylor Bradford was inspired by the story of Betty Beecroft, but I do think there are a lot of similarities there. Betty Beecroft died in 1812 at the age of 64. On her death, it was said that she was neither free from defects nor destitute of eccentricities, but her industry, economy, firmness of mind, and inviolable attachment to the scriptures, for which she was most proverbial, will doubtless live forever in the remembrance of her family and friends. When we look at the story of Betty Beecroft, we see the life of a fascinating, fiercely driven woman who wasn't afraid to enter the world of business, who trusted in her skills and abilities, and who made a real impact on the industrial heritage of Leeds and beyond.